right, here we go on a Thursday in the middle of March. Welcome to March Madness, the good kind. Basketball happening now in Division I, but man, has it been a wonderful and good mad month of March. Welcome in, everybody. This is the UKnighted Podcast. We're back at the U6 Tap House after a couple of weeks taping shows for good reasons. We'll get into all those in just a couple of minutes. But welcome in, everyone. It is a great night to talk about Gannon Athletics. I'm Isaac Petcash. In case you're new to this show, this podcast, brought to you by our friends at John Russell Hospitality, is all about Gannon Athletics. The student athletes, the stories behind them, interviews, fun segments, questions, top plays of the week, and much more. It is all right here on the Gannon Podcast Network, brought to you by our friends at John Russell Hospitality. What are we going to talk about tonight? I say that in jest. There's so much to get to this evening. You all by now have known the success that our programs and specifically some individuals have had over the course of the last few days. So we're not going to waste much time, but we will show you who is on the show tonight. In just a couple of minutes, Dorian Crosby is going to join us. The newly crowned national champ, who's got some hardware in tow, is going to talk about his run, the incredible stretch that he has had throughout his Gannon career, and of course, what's next? And for him, what's next is literally happening right now because he's got a full schedule on his plate. We'll also talk about baseball and softball starting their seasons at home this weekend. Of course, men's basketball regional champions, they're going to be heading to the Elite Eight. We'll touch base on that and how you can join them in Pittsburgh in just a little bit. First, though, let's get to our dish of the day really quickly as we do every single show. Got a good classic coming back for you on this Thursday. All right, dish of the day today is one that we had from last year, but it is a good classic, and it's one of their pizzas, hot honey pizzas. Specifically, our dish of the day today on this Thursday, March 19th. Got a little bit of a preview here, right here in front of me. This is always the tough part of the show. I don't know why we do this at the beginning because I got to have this delicious food in front of me the entire time. It's got everything you can want. It's bacon. It's got pepperoni, a little bit of a hot honey drizzle, some ham on there as well. It is delicious, and you won't want to miss it because our dish of the day can be found anytime that the UKnighted Tap House is open from their opening hours, and you can join tonight and throughout the entire year at the UKnighted Tap House. I'm going to have the men's wrestlers join that. Guys, you can have that pizza. Tom, you can grab that pizza if you want. That's all yours. Hot honey pizza to be enjoyed by individuals who do not have responsibilities on this Thursday evening. Coach Boyd and Coach Schaefer and company joining us on the podcast as well. The hot honey pizza is our dish of the day. All right, showtime. It was showtime over the weekend. For one, Dorian Crosby. He was one of 5 All-Americans for the Gannon Golden Knights after claiming that status on Friday evening with his victory in the quarterfinals. Then a tough semifinal matchup saw Dorian with a 4-1 sudden victory win against his opponent from Grand Valley State. And so it set the stage for this. Dorian Crosby against Crew Howard, the rematch from last year in which Dorian won for 3rd place. But this time, it was for the heavyweight championship of Division II on the line. What followed? One of the most historic and memorable 7 minutes plus of action that we have seen. Here's a look back, winning moments and more from one Dorian Crosby. Few days old, and it still doesn't get old. And especially is never going to get old for this man who, for the rest of his life, gets to call himself a national champion. Pleased to be joined by one Dorian Crosby, who is back to dad and teaching duties right now. He didn't get a day off. He literally went to school the next morning, Dorian, from my understanding. But he's joining us now on the United podcast. First of all, congratulations. You watching that video back, I mean, I wasn't even wrestling and I get goosebumps. Can you just put into perspective what the last 72 hours, 4 days have been like for you?
It was really amazing. Really a lot of highs. A little low when our flight got canceled, and
I think we all are feeling that at some point.
Yeah, I was say, oh well, we're stranded in Sioux Falls, and then I'm like, well, I plan to come back to work on Monday,
right?
Having to plan 2 days of work for a sub, but other than that, coming back and getting like a little mini clap-in parade with my school, and just put everything back up to those really high highs.
It is hard to believe that you are able to fit everything that you fit in a day. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but let's go back to the weekend, and I really want to go back to when the tournament started. There was a clear expectation, I think, for you certainly, that you wanted to win this. You've made this very obvious throughout your career and throughout this year. But I think there was this understanding that 285 out of the bracket was going to, we thought, be chalk, right? You and crew at the end. When you came into the tournament, what was the key specifically on Friday going into Saturday to just keep winning? Because you had a tough first-round matchup. You had a tough quarterfinal matchup. You didn't have any easy roads to get to this point. What allowed you to just stay with where you were at and get to Saturday and then ultimately do what you did?
Just same game plan, just go out and wrestle. Just wanted to have fun through and through.
Yeah.
With those first two matches, really, the score looks like it was tough. It really wasn't. They just wouldn't wrestle me.
Sure.
They wouldn't really shoot on me and like compare like that first match.
Wrestling not to lose as opposed, or just to lose close as opposed to getting pinned.
Yeah, like when I wrestled that first kid and I beat him only 2-1 with stall calls. Yeah. I watched him wrestle the entire rest of the tournament shooting. And I was like, well, okay, you didn't try that at all with me.
Right.
The second time I wrestled that kid the year prior and he wrestled totally different.
Sure.
Kind of wrestled just basically not to get scored on. And I was like, all right, I want someone to wrestle me.
Right.
like I get Ben Lloyd in practice room who comes at me every day.
Right.
And I love it. And those first two matches, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go out and wrestle, and I know I'm gonna get this win because I'm not putting any pressure on myself.
Right. And again, it was clear, and you make a good point, is that the result really wasn't ever in doubt, but the score, for those who don't follow wrestling, might think that way. You're thinking 2-1, oh my goodness, what happened? You got an escape, maybe one stall call, but there was a level of, let's say, respect as to what you brought. And I think you know that in 285, you are without a doubt the most athletic guy that was in that bracket, and it showed carrying over to the semifinals, because what people may not have seen, we just showed that video of the final, the incredible overtime victory, but to get there, you had to get out of an almost impossible position, and we've got it here. Semifinal, Carter Blau, Grand Valley State. How in the heck do you get out of this in overtime where he's got your leg 99% of the time? That's a takedown and a win for him.
I've been doing it. I've been doing stuff like that since at Bucknell. I knew with wrestling, especially with getting your leg up that high, keeping close to them when they try to trip you is the key, because at that point now it's 50-50 when you both hit the mat.
Yeah.
With me, and I know I'm going to bounce my hips right back up. With that situation, I was like, if I push too far away and he trips me, I'm in a terrible position. I pulled forward. I'm like, all right. He kicks my leg. My leg just bounces right back. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to pull you to your back. And at that point, it's just not being scared, not freaking out. Unlike him being on his back, he freaked out almost instantaneously. I was like, I'm just going to stay calm. And that's what almost everyone asked me about that. I was like, the key is just staying calm and not freaking out. That was, if you include the semifinals and the finals, both pretty good scrambles in both matches. Yeah. I just stayed calm in both of them.
I think the key, and you touched on this even at the championships, was that on the ground, you feel like you're either going to be on top or you're going to get reversals of anybody. And I think that showed the second that he takes you down and there's a scramble, you feel the athleticism for you is there. We'll get to the final in a minute, but is that the confidence that you just felt and the experience I'm sure that you had.
Yeah, it's definitely confidence. It's definitely getting to do it every day in practice and just practicing those movements and practicing those situations. And I love something that most coaches won't say, like they put in perspective. I love play wrestling. I love putting in being put in different positions and figuring out ways to get out or even score from those positions. And I did it a lot this year with Ben Lloyd. And we just put ourselves in those positions of, let's figure out this position. Let's figure out how we get out of here. Maybe it's a position where there's kind of no way to get out of it. Maybe it's a position where very slim chance, but maybe we can tweak some things and figure it out. So I just go in it with the confidence of I've done it in practice. I can do it out here too.
Has Ben in that position to take down on you this year?
No. I would say he hasn't really taken. No, he took, and he's going to say it for the rest of his life now. He took me. His one goal this entire year was he hit every goal except for taking me down.
Oh.
And then I remember the day before. It was the day before Nationals.
Yeah,
like the first day, and we're talking, and I tell Coach this, and then we go into practice, and we're wrestling a live match, and lo and behold, he gets me in a front headlock, snaps me out, and I shoot a bad shot, and he takes me down. And I said, of course. So now he won't let me live it down. But the one thing I do tell him, they never took me down from a leg attack.
Fair. You know what? That is almost on par with what's the movie with LeBron James, the basketball movie with whichever basketball movie with LeBron, where the guy, maybe it's Adam Sandler, he makes a 3-pointer on LeBron and then goes, "That's it. I made it at 3. Made it 3. I'm the best player in the world. I own you. I'm never taking you on again." That can be Ben for the rest of his life. Exactly. Before we get to the championship, I want to ask Ben, because Ben has been such a critical part of your practice and your preparation. He was at national championships with you. How important was it to have him throughout this entire year?
It was really important. I about to say I kind of pushed. I was the one that actually asked Coach Boyd to bring him to nationals because practice partner. I want the person who was my practice partner the entire year. Yeah. And B, it was a good exposure for him because I know he's going to take up the reins next year, and I know that he's gotten exponentially better wrestling with me. And I about to say something that most people can say is I'm not a selfish person. Right. Yes, I have my own goals, but my goal is to push my teammates and push them to be better and get better in the same room. And I told him, I had him sitting on the ring side, stage side of nationals. And I told him, as much as I earned this, you earned it with me, because he pushed me in the room. He came at me every step of the way. Yeah, most of the times it didn't go his way, but without that, who says I'm a national champion? Yeah,
and willing for him to come back more and more and ready, and he's going to be a better wrestler, you said, because of it next year. Let's get to the finals. Yeah. You knew, I knew, Coach Boyd knew, any casual wrestling fan knew you're probably going to sudden victory. It's probably going to be the first takedown wins. That's what happened. You both get escapes in the second and third. I thought for the majority of the match, you were the one taking the shots, and you had a couple of great looks, and they don't fall. Yeah. And then on his best shot of the match in overtime, you end up picking up the win. Give me a sense of what you were seeing in this situation when he picked your leg. This is the scramble on the ground. What's going through your mind?
Just keep wrestling. I say don't stop. That's something I tell everyone. I was like, what's the key? What's the key to being very successful? Don't stop wrestling. Chain wrestling. And that's the one thing I kind of flourished in. I never stopped wrestling. Like, there was a time period that people thought, oh my God, he's about to get taken down. Oh my God, he's dead right. I'm like, no, I have his ankle. I have his leg. I'm gonna say the one thing I know, the high man has the advantage. Yeah. So I got his ankle, got his leg. I picked it up. I was like, all right, I'm up. Now I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna score because my legs were split. I was like, but I'm not letting him out. Right. So when I go for that crossface, I turn around. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to just go for it. I let go of the leg and I just switched and I stopped his arm from blocking me. And I was like, all right. I look, and at first it was like, did I get the takedown? I look at the ref and he calls. I was like, thank God,
because otherwise it's a mad scramble and who knows what the heck's going to happen. Yeah. The moment afterwards, your hands are in the air, and then maybe my favorite video that I've taken out of anybody all year is you run over to the side of the stage and your wife's there with your daughter and you pick her up in the air. There's the moment. What was that feeling like?
It was amazing. I was about to say, it was something that I kind of picture in my mind all season, And the one thing that made it even better is that when I'm going, she has the biggest smile on her face. When I'm going to pick her up.
See it.
And it was just an amazing feeling. And once I saw that, I was like, okay, and now I need to turn to everyone and just show everyone what's one of the biggest prizes in my life right now. So it was definitely a highlight in my season, definitely a highlight in my career.
Yeah, it was one of the most amazing pictures as well. Let me see if I can find it. That one there, and then eventually too later on. This was one of my favorites too, of her touching the trophy. You've been open about how important your family is to you, how much it's meant to have your wife, your daughter along for the ride. They were there as part of the regional. They were there with national championships. What was it like to have them ringside, in addition to the president, Dr. Iwanenko, and First Lady Mary Iwanenko, having them there, right there by you?
It was amazing. I about to say it's something that Jasmine has stuck by me since through and through since we were 14. Just getting into wrestling with her at 14, didn't know anything about it. And she stuck by me for the entire journey. And it was a surreal moment. I was about to say, especially now having our own kid. And yeah, she may not remember it because she's 10 months old, but she'll look at pictures like, oh, I was there. Yeah. My daddy's a champion. My daddy won. And then just having Dr. Iwanenko and his wife there was amazing. I was about to say, coming to Gannon last year, they actually invited me and Jasmine out to eat and basically just break bread and get to know us better. And that itself was a highlight of my time at Gannon. And I just made me love Gannon even more because realistically, I love Bucknell, but I've never met. First time I met the president was when I was crossing the stage to graduation. And I've known Dr. I since the first duel. Since really introduced me, and then he was like, oh, I love that you're here again, and I can't wait to see all the success you have, and just knowing all the support he has, and the big hug I got, and he picked me up in the air. It was just a good feeling.
One of the only times that someone may have had more strength than you in the moment, but at that point it didn't matter for you. You know, in the moments following, there were a lot of incredible pictures and scenes and whatnot, and obviously this recap shows it, but besides your family, besides Ben, who was there with you, you and Coach Boyd's relationship has been amazing. He's here with you tonight. This hug is one of the most emotional moments that I've seen. When you came here, you had the goal of winning the national championship, but it isn't done alone. Take me through your guys' relationship and what that's been like through your journey, ultimately winning this with him by your side.
I would say from the jump, when I came on my official visit, they had on the screen Dorian Crosby, national champion in the rafters this was even before the homework was all said and done. They had it in the rafters, and from that jump, he was all in. I would say even before I even committed, he was all in. And actually, it was a funny story. I committed, I called him up, and he said, "Oh, we're just having our banquet right now." And I was like, "Oh well, I want to tell you that I'm fully committed to Gannon." And he's like, "Oh, that's the greatest news I've ever
what banquet? Yeah, what banquet? Yeah. When can you get off the plane?"
And it was just a great feeling. And ever since then, he full steam ahead, all supporting me, knowing last year I could have won it last year, but he knew that I left some stuff on the table, and he knew, it was up in the air if I came back this year. And he talked with me, and he knows the feeling of regret. And he knows that he didn't want me to feel that. And he knew that coming back to his team this year was historic, probably the best team ever in Gannon history. Yeah. And just full steam ahead. When I came back, he was like, all right, we're going to make everything work. We're going to do stuff so you can be the best version of yourself. And he helped, and he pushed me, and he made sure that I was in tip-top condition. And just every day just pushed me. And that's something I always loved what coaches did, was push me, because I always respond. And just knowing I had him in my corner, and knowing that I'm his first national champion. And I told him after, I was like, I'm your first national champion, and I know I'm not going to be your last.
No doubt. And I hopefully next year that there's a couple more that join you, because there were a couple that had an opportunity this year as well. But we know how brutal of a sport wrestling can be. We knew the physical attributes were there for you, right? When you came back, you hit the ground running, but you just made a good point. The mental part of this sport is ginormous, right? One bad move, one bad second, one bad shoot, you're on the ground, the 5 count happens, it's over. What did you have to do when you decided you were going to come back for that final year, when the school said it's okay, to put that memory of not winning the national championship out of your mind, and then when you got back to the stage last weekend, being able to just wrestle a clean slate?
I just came in. I was like, I know the difference between this year and last year. I put a lot of pressure on myself. I feel like I'm coming down from Division One. I was like, I have to win. And I'm not saying I didn't feel like I had to win this year either, but I did. I wrestled more freely this year. I was like, I have nothing to lose. Like win, lose, or draw. This is my final ride. I have to go out and I'm gonna put the best product I can. And I'm just knowing like going out and I'm like. No, like I get nervous, but every time right before all the nerves clear, and I'm just gonna go out and have fun. I would say Coach Boyd, Coach Jeff, they asked me like, what's the game plan? And I was like, just go out and have fun, just go out and wrestle.
Yeah,
I was about to say it is, the outcome will come. I was about to say I'd just go out and have fun and wrestle because I won't be able to do it all the time, especially last week. And I was like, this is probably the last time I do it.
Dude, it looked like you were belting out your intro song as you were walking down the carpet. I'm like, nothing phases this dude. This guy's having a song session in the middle of his introduction. You know what's up. And just an incredible weekend. And I think we'd be remiss too if we didn't talk about the other part of your life in addition to your wife and your daughter and your wrestling career is your teaching career. Yeah. There was an awesome video that was posted by Grover Cleveland Elementary on Facebook. Make sure to check it out on their page. And what a hero's welcome when you got back. You had a parade down the hallways. They played your song. You went to the gym. You got a chance to talk and speak with all the students. That had to be you. What was it like getting to celebrate with your class and the people who ultimately you probably see more than anybody else on a daily basis?
It was amazing. I was about to say I came in and like I had to come in a little bit earlier to print out some papers to get ready for the day. And then all my kids are waiting outside my door and they all rush up and hug me. And I was like, oh, see, I do have people that miss me. And we actually had like PLC that morning. So, and that is usually like an hour. It ended at 8:40. I was like, this kind of
interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
So we go up and I'm seeing like a bunch of classes are just walking out in the halls. I was like, is it like assembly or something? Right. So I go out in my class and I'm assuming they didn't think I was going to do that. So then they were kind of stalling me in the hallway. And then Mr. Walsh, the assistant principal, comes out and brings me downstairs. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm thinking, I'm going through all the halls and then I go around and then I hear my walkout song. I was like, what?
Wait a minute.
I was like, I know this song. And then when I went into the gym, I was like, oh, this is it. I was about to say, and it just reminded me because like with that song, I've loved that song since I was 10. And because I've always had that song. And I told my wife last year, I was like, when I walk out, I'm gonna play that song.
Yeah.
And this entire season, I would, before every match, I would play that song. And there's plenty of times when I'm warming up and it says, I'm the man. I'm pointing to my chest, saying, I'm the man. And just with their support and them playing it, I was like, I really do love my job. I really do love where I'm at. And I really love all the support that not only did the Grover Cleveland School give to me, but just the Erie School District as a whole.
Yeah, and the fact that they were okay with you coming back and wrestling. Yeah. I mean, again, there's so much sacrifice that has to be made with that. Did it kind of feel weird waking up the next morning in Sioux Falls? I mean, obviously you were delayed and canceled with your flight, but you win the national championship one night. The next day, you're probably making plans for subs.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I won national. I'm like, I'm so ready to go home and show it all off. And I was like, oh, it's canceled. I was like,
darn. Like, all right, watch a movie or something, class. I don't know.
I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I called my mentor, and she was like, well, you're just going to talk to HR and tell them that you're stranded in Sioux Falls. I was like, all right. I'm just sitting. I'm like, I got homework to do. Now I got to also plan. I was like, this is great. This is so great.
Oh, lovely. It's like life hits you in the face pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
It's the definition of adulting, I suppose, of the full-time life. Your team, you had 4 other All-Americans with you, right? A couple of really awesome stories in addition to yours. Joey Lyons battling back after losing his first match. Logan Solat, an All-American. He's an Erie native. Pat Jackson, after he was 2-0 last year, he becomes an All-American. And then Holden Hune, who, I mean, he could be a national championship next year, and this year doesn't count because he's a redshirt. Take me through what it was like to have those guys and the others who even, weren't All-Americans on your team as well and being there with you and seeing the success that you guys had.
It was just great. I about to say there's something about me that anyone will tell you is I'm very selfless. I like I will support anyone before I would even want to support myself.
Yeah.
So I like that success and seeing it, and especially all season long with the duels and like going with the dual season and winning PSACs together and just being able to rally my team. Rally the team, rally them when they're down, picking them back up is always great for me. And especially like that quarterfinals round when like everyone was just starting to lose close matches, that hurt really bad to me. And it wasn't like, and it wasn't hurt like, oh wow, we can't get the team to hurt, because I was like, I don't want to see my guys lose. And like I was sitting next to Jasmine when Jerry's in his blood round match, and then like when Jerry lost last second, I almost cried. I was like, not only I was like, we're close. Not only am I close with him, but I know that feeling way too well in terms of at Bucknell, my last year at Bucknell and losing round of 16 at Division 1s. That feeling and going back to my low tent and crying, and I was like, I need to go find him. So I did, and we had a long embrace, and I said you'll always be a Gannon legend, and it was like, I'm always there. And that's one thing about me, and I always am selfless. I'm a selfless leader, and I always put everyone else above myself. I want to see everyone succeed really before I do. And just they always reciprocate it back to me. They always say, oh, Dorian's going to win this. Oh, we know Dorian's going to go out and give it his all. So just especially the highlight of the season for me was not only winning a national championship, but winning the PSAC title and how we did it and how dramatic fashion, and the team afterwards all mobbing me and stuff like that.
That was a neat moment.
I about to say, they say wrestling's an independent sport, but I love the team aspect of it.
Man, I don't know, but I don't know if you can see in the background, but one of the funniest reactions, Joey Lyons is going absolutely bonkers back there. I thought he was going to literally jump out of his chair, jump onto the mat. There's just so many cool moments, man. And I do got to ask you, wrestling is such a fascinating sport too, because it's one of the ones where there is some professional aspect to it. If you go, UFC, if you want to dabble in WWE, maybe whatever, but in terms of professional team, there really isn't that, right? Olympics maybe too. Do you want to continue wrestling in some fashion, whether it's coaching, whether it's trying to get to an even higher level? What does wrestling have in store for you, if anything, following this championship?
Definitely coaching at some point. I would say I feel like this is the end of like actively competing. Like I know people, Jasmine joked around like, oh, you can go to an open every once in a while. Ben Lloyd wants me to go to an open next year. Like, oh, well, I'll meet you in the finals now.
Yeah, he wants to just beat you. That's
what
I
was like. And I told him like, Ben, I might not be in the greatest shape then, but you're not beating me. Like, I'm not letting you beat me. But in terms of being on a team and looking for the hires, I'm like, I'm done. I about to say I'm on a high right now, and I want to just give back to the sport now, especially give back to the Erie community when I can, and help out the schools, and at some point maybe get into high school coaching or even helping Coach Boyd coach with the college.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, there's plenty of opportunities out there for you. It's a sport that you really can't quit, right? Once you get into it, and that's something that obviously we've seen on so many levels for you. Couple more questions before we get done with this. I could talk with you all night, but I know you've had a lot of crazy moments in the last few. When you reflect on this journey, and it's been one in which you started in Erie, you were a prep kid, you end up going to Bucknell, you have success there at national championships, and you come back. Take me through what the story ends up and has been for you compared to what you hoped it would be. Has it been what you wanted and more? Has it been along the lines of what you thought? Take me through that journey and just kind of how you'll reflect on your wrestling story.
It's been, I feel like it's been everything and more, really, because I feel like coming home, I feel like at Bucknell, I love my Bucknell family. I love all the support they gave me, but I feel like it's also 4 hours away. So really, I felt like I love Carter, but I feel like he was getting all the love from Erie, and like, I'm not getting any of that. No. And I feel like coming home, I can get that. And yeah, that was a part of it. But I was like, I'm still home. I'm around family that can come to my matches, and I can still support and be a role model for the wrestlers around here in Erie. It was really cool. And then being able to wrestle still at a high level at such a pretty good wrestling team, and rallying everyone and just getting the success I had. Even when I took third last year, I was content. If that was my final year, I was content, because I was like, I left it all out there. Yeah. But it was everything and some. I about to say, I really let it all out there. I poured my heart, blood, sweat, and tears into it, and I just was like, I'm gonna get what I put out, and I put in all the hard work, and I'm just gonna show off my skills and let everyone judge my wrestling skills. But I know everyone else knows me as a person, and I have a really good character. And as much as I am a good wrestler, I would say I'm a good person. I about to say, yeah, there's times where I might like, am I a good person? But I hear it a lot to know, and I can say that I'm a pretty good person.
Well, the Gannon family 100% agrees, and I think everyone else around you agrees as well. You mentioned coaching. The little baby Crosby going to get into wrestling when she gets older?
So Jasmine, our whole thing, she said that, all the girls I want, because she played basketball, her and her sisters, and she was like, I want the girls to play basketball, and the boys can go wrestle. And I was like, okay, I'm letting her choose.
Right.
I'm about to say, but I'm just saying this now. She's hitting a knee slide right now. So I was like, I'm like, Jasmine, she's looking prime to wrestle.
Listen, at that age, 10 months old, right? Yeah. At that age, she's already got that down. I mean, she might be winning more national titles than you at that age. Who knows, man? Dorian, it's been awesome getting to watch your career, getting to watch you succeed. There are so many people I know that have loved watching you and love what you do. Just again, a huge congratulations from us. And I know you're going to be sticking around, obviously, because you got classes in school and things of that nature to full-time dad. I understand there's no days off, but congratulations again, my man. Enjoy the title, enjoy the belts, and stay in touch. We can't wait to see what you do next in life.
Thank you.
At John Russell Hospitality, every restaurant tells a story of flavor, community, and unforgettable moments. From handcrafted meals to welcoming spaces, we bring people together around a table. John Russell Hospitality, where great food meets genuine companionship. Make sure to visit one of our 6 locations today.
What a man, Dorian Crosby. He is the man, which is of course, song that he walked out to in the championship match victory against Crew Howard of Nebraska Kearney. And, of course, it's been his walkout song since he came to Gannon. A huge congrats once again from all of our Gannon family to him. 25 years it had been since a Gannon individual had won a national championship. Dorian takes that mantle this year and is destined for amazing things, whether it's a coach, as a father that he currently is, and as a teacher as well at Grover Cleveland Elementary School. And we really would encourage you to watch that video at Grover Cleveland as well that they put out. A really wonderful tribute to him with an assembly and a little bit of a nice walk through the halls there as well. All right, here's what's on tap as we show you that championship winning picture from Dorian Crosby. Some home openers to get to this week. First and foremost, we want to congratulate women's lacrosse who won their home opener yesterday in dramatic fashion by an 11-10 final. Charlie Hunter had the game-winning goal. You're going to see her in the top 5 plays of the week in just a bit. And a congratulations to Charlie Hunter as well, who yesterday went over 100 goals for her career. She scored her 100th in the third quarter. And in the fourth quarter, she was able to keep her team in the game and end up winning the game with her 101st goal of the season in overtime. So congrats to Charlie and congrats to the Golden Knights for that home opening victory yesterday. They are back in action coming up on Saturday against Slippery Rock on the road, their first PSAC contest of the week. Baseball home opener is Sunday against IUP. Coach DJ Cannon and the Golden Knights go to McConnell Family Stadium to host the Crimson Hawks. This will be the third and fourth of a 4-game stretch in which Gannon will travel to IUP on Friday. Bit of a schedule change for you for softball. The home opener was originally scheduled to be tomorrow at 2 and 4 p.m. against IUP. However, against Edinburgh, However, due to impending weather, that has been postponed. So softball's home opener against Edinburgh is going to be against Clarion coming up on Saturday. The game against Edinburgh has been moved to Wednesday, March 25th against Edinburgh. So softball in action Saturday against Clarion. That's their home opener at McConnell Family Stadium. And competitive cheer and dance back as well as they get ready for their second of 3 regular season meets on Sunday in Elmira, New York at the Upstate Collegiate Championships. A couple other news and notes and awards to get to as well. Big congratulations to men's and women's golf who swept the PSAC Athletes of the Week awards for the This week, first of all, Victoria Colmenares, who was announced as the PSAC Women's Golf Athlete of the Week for her performance at the Pawleys Island Beach Bash, in which she finished 9th. And how about the Italian stallion Giovanni Di Lorenzi, the PSAC Men's Golf Athlete of the Week? He was 2nd at the same Pawleys Island Beach Bash tournament. Again, and men finished 2nd as the team. Women were 3rd, and both squads are back in action Monday and Tuesday at the Vulcan Fire Classic in California, PA. All right, well, Dorian Crosby, of course, the huge story of the weekend with his national championship victory. And that lasted about 48 hours before we had another incredible, important matchup to get to. And that was men's basketball. Coach Easton Bozzoli and his Golden Knights lost in the PSAC championship game to Cal last Sunday, but then got revenge 1 week later when they beat the Vulcans to move to the Atlantic Region title game. And for those of you who are recent history buffs, you might know that Coach Bozzoli's first year last season was also a year in which Gannon got to the regional final, but they fell ultimately to West Liberty 101-90. This year, though, getting the regional final at home against a conference opponent in IUP, a team that the Golden Knights know well and that they had beaten 3 times already to start the season. This game, though, on Tuesday, down to the wire. Golden Knights trailed, and it came down to a second-half surge to lift the Golden Knights to a historic moment. Here's how the regional championship victory for men's basketball looked and sounded from a raucous Highmark Event Center on Tuesday night. Second time in the last 3 years that the Gannon Golden Knight men's basketball team has made the Elite Eight. They are the Atlantic Regional champions, defeating IUP 81-74 in comeback fashion on Tuesday night to advance to the Elite Eight in Pittsburgh coming up next week. Interestingly enough, you saw at the end of that video 31, the number that Coach Bozzoli wrote up on the board. Every time Gannon wins a game, they write the number of wins that they have now in the season on the board. 31 is the number as Gannon comes in, 31 wins, 3 losses. If they win their first game of the Elite Eight on Wednesday, they will tie a program record 4 wins in a season, which was set 2 years ago when Coach Jordan Fee led the Golden Knights to a 32-3 season in 2023-2024. The first matchup for the Golden Knights in the Elite Eight in Pittsburgh is this upcoming Wednesday, March 25th, when Gannon will take on Michigan Tech. Golden Knights are the 3rd seed, Michigan Tech the 6th seed. That game will be at noon at the UPMC Cooper Fieldhouse in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, For those fans who are interested in going, we know many, if not all of you watching this podcast are, good news. We have a fan bus that is going to the Elite Eight game, and some information is here. Fan bus will be leaving Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. at the Recreation Wellness Center front lobby. If you want more information, we have info on our website as well as our social media channels for how you can sign up. Keep in mind, a separate ticket to get into the game is required. So if you do purchase that fan bus pass, you still also need to purchase a ticket to the game. We have ticketing information as well, the men's basketball schedule on our website. But if you want to ride the fan bus, make sure to sign up. Spots are selling quickly. Wednesday, March 25th. Departs the parking lot of the Recreation Wellness Center at 8 a.m. sharp so we can watch the Golden Knights in action in their Elite Eight game against Michigan Tech. Wow, what an episode. We still got one more thing left to attend to, shall we? Let's get to our top 5 plays of the week, and we were spoiled for choice this week. We'll start at number 5, and it's the aforementioned Charlie Hunter. This was her first goal of the game in a career night. Take a look at Hunter zipping it into the cage, past the netminder, would give Gannon the early lead. This was goal number 98 for the career of Charlie Hunter. She would get to 100 in her career in the third quarter, and goal number 101 on the season was the eventual game winner in overtime as the Golden Knights beat Duville in a dramatic home opening victory yesterday. Congrats to Charlie and the Golden Knights on those milestones. At number 4, let's go to acrobatics and tumbling, and this is video from the team event because Addie Wommeldorf's squad is on a roll. Another win against another ranked team at home last night as they take down Mary Hardin-Baylor, who is ranked 8th in the country, by a dominating 263-248 final. The Golden Knights have now won 2 straight home meets against ranked opponents after taking down Glendale State and Mary Hardin-Baylor, and they're in a really good spot now for a chance to move to NCAA national team competition. Still a couple of meets left to go, but boy, has the acrobatics and tumbling team been incredible this year, and they end the season unbeaten at home as well. At number 3, we're going to show you 2 plays that we showed you during Dorian's conversation. Our semifinal match against Carter Blount from Grand Valley State. It was in overtime, and I still, every time I watch it, don't know how the heck Dorian does this. While having the leg picked, he just said on our show, keep him close to your body and then attack on the ground from there. DC with the win in the semifinal match, and well, the number 1 play is going to be a bit familiar as well, but we'll get to that in just a moment. That's number 3 in our top 5 plays of the week. Here is number 2. It's the entire second half from Tuesday night's men's basketball victory in the regional final as they take down that of IUP 81-74. This Golden Knight team, they just kept going. They didn't stop. They scored buckets. Pace Prosser had 24 points, and Precious Idiaru holding up that trophy. Second time in 3 years, Gannon's won the region as they beat the likes of IUP for the 4th time this season, 81-74. And there's Coach Pizzoli cutting down the nets. I think it doesn't mean much to these guys. Yeah, they were fired up on Tuesday, and so was the crowd. Big shout out to you, the fans, for being an unbelievable supporting group on Tuesday night. One of the best crowds we've ever had in that building, certainly since the days it was the Audi and the Mill. That's at number 2. Number 1, speaking of number 1, 31 wins is Gannon's mark right now. If they get one more win, they'll tie a program record for wins, 32. The reaction from Coach Pizzoli. What a night. What a night this was, too. At number 1, it is the obvious Dorian Crosby in overtime. That made it official there. The 3, the spear. Even I maybe gave out a little bit of a yell, which I'm not prone to doing, but it was an emotional, amazing evening. Dorian Crosby comes to me from the first Gannon men's wrestling in 25 years to win an individual national championship title in the first one under the success of head coach Tom Boyd. And just an incredible moment. Every single piece of video that we shot there was emotional and in a lot of ways fitting. Dorian Crosby finishes off his illustrious career with a national championship. Those are your top 5 plays of the week. It's going to be hard to top that next week, but we got a lot more in the can coming up for next week as well. Top 5 in all likelihood will feature baseball and softball coming up next week. We'll also, of course, feature men's basketball's Elite Eight as they take on Michigan Tech Wednesday at noon. And women's lacrosse continues to be in action as well. Men's and women's golf also on the road coming up this week. What a show it has been. What a season it has been so far for our winter teams, and it's not done yet. Men's basketball still in the dance in the Elite Eight. Again, the game time, March 25th. That's this upcoming Wednesday at 12 p.m. against Michigan Tech. Information of how you can join the fan bus is on our social media channels. Our next show is 1 week from tonight, Thursday, I'm getting my days mixed up. Thursday, March 26th, back here at the UPick 6 Tap House. You can watch on all of our social media platforms and on our YouTube page at Gannon Golden Knights. We'll see you all then. Make sure to enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cheer on our men's basketball team and our other spring sports programs who are at home this weekend. We'll talk and see you all next week here on the UKnighted Podcast. Have a wonderful night, everyone. We'll talk to you all later.